Welcome to the Ignited Entrepreneurs Podcast, where each week I will chat with an amazing entrepreneur who has figured out their secret sauce to running a successful business and share all of that juicy goodness to help you find your secret sauce to take your next quantum leap in your business. This week's episode is brought to you by the Speakers Club Calendar. Are you a professional public speaker looking for companies who want to hire you? The Speakers Club Calendar is an invaluable resource to put you in direct contact with the right people for the right events at the right time. No more endless hours of searching for events. The Speakers Club Calendar brings it all to you in one place at exactly the right time. Each month, the Speakers Club Calendar releases the next batch of listings, complete with everything you will need to be first in line to apply directly to the decision makers. To check out this amazing resource, look for the link in the show notes. Welcome everybody to another episode of Ignited Entrepreneurs. Today I am very excited to have Sara Michaels. Sara, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am very excited to hear all of this goodness that you have going on in your business right now. So can you tell our listeners who you are and what you do?
Sure. So my name is Sara Michaels. I am an entrepreneur and I'm a course creator, and I enjoy educating business owners on how to grow their businesses online. When I first got started as an entrepreneur, I kind of figured out some tactics that worked, and I was able to build an international organization 100% through my social media, my website, and some online strategies.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're here so you can share with us all that good stuff.
Yeah. And so there was that. And then a couple years later, I decided to start my own agency and design studio. So on the personal side of things, I like educating entrepreneurs and business owners. Mm-hmm. And then I also run a digital marketing agency, and we do done-for-you services for entrepreneurs and business owners.
Oh, I love it. You know, it's one of the things that I've started to realize in my own business is that I don't have time to learn everything that I need to actually run my business. Mm-hmm. So having somebody that has done for you services, wow, that's like life-saving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I figured that out, that it took me so much longer when I got started because I didn't have money to invest. And so I had to learn all these strategies myself. And luckily I'm kind of techie and inclined, but otherwise it's like, it's so overwhelming. And that's the number one thing I really see that trips up online entrepreneurs, especially, is like the tech and the setup side of things. It's just like, oh my gosh. It's
constantly changing. So you go and you learn it once, and then you just have to keep on learning it over and over again. Who has time for that?
Exactly.
I don't. So can you share with us some of these done-for-you services that you offer?
Yeah, so one of the things that I really enjoy is creating websites. And so we've done that. We have some templates for business owners where, you know, if you go out and you get a quote for web design, it's a little bit of a sticker shock, you know, and it's expensive. And so I wanted to create an affordable way for business owners to be able to get their hands on a website without sacrificing quality. Because when done correctly, your website is one of the best, you know, pieces of your business out there marketing for you. So we do website design. We also offer some paid marketing campaigns, a little bit of branding. So that's on the done for you side of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can you tell us, I always love to hear, I call it people's birth stories. Tell us how you got into this business. I love those stories. So please share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So It starts a little ways back. So I think I told you this. So I was actually like 5 years old, and I remember just always knowing that I wanted to be successful. And my kindergarten teacher, when she asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "A millionaire," because
What
my
a
life.
great answer.
I said, I want to help people, but I want to make a lot of money. And
Mhm.
she told me to pick something more realistic. And, so I said, well, the next best thing I could think of was I was going to become a nurse because you help
Oh,
people.
okay. Right.
So that
Yep.
was my thing. So I did the thing, went to high school, I went to college. But I never felt like I fit in the box. So
Mm.
for you or any entrepreneurs listening, it's that like, it's the 9 to 5. It just doesn't make sense for us because we have that entrepreneurial spirit, and it didn't make sense for me. And so I did get pregnant at 19. And so I
Mhm.
ended up dropping out of college. I was a single mom for a bit, working 2 jobs. At one point, I had nothing in my fridge other than like
Aw.
ketchup, a loaf of bread, and maybe a thing of eggs. And like, that was it. I worked
Yeah.
nights, mornings. I went to school, and I was a single mom with
Mhm.
a child. But I knew there was something more. A couple years later, well,
Mhm.
then I realized my definition of working from home is very different than corporate America's definition. Yeah, yeah. I should
Yeah.
have clarified that. I went to school for medical transcription because I saw an ad and it said work from home, set your own hours. So I get out, I get certified as a medical transcriptionist, and then realize, oh crap, like this isn't gonna work. So
Uh,
so I was just like searching for something. And at the time I was a military spouse, and I have such a heart for the military community. Was a military spouse for almost 5 years, and I couldn't get a job. I had no degree. I dropped out of college. I have a young child. And I was looking for jobs like it was my full-time job. And
right.
I couldn't get hired because they can't come right out and ask you, are you a military spouse? Because that's discriminatory. But
Okay.
but they have ways of finding out if you are, and they don't want to hire you because oftentimes military spouses are only in an area for a certain amount of time. Um, so the traditional job market just wasn't for me. And then I was introduced to my first business mentor. Um, I went to a home party, and I did get my entrepreneurial start in a home-based business, which is
Mhm.
a great training ground, I believe, for beginner entrepreneurs.
Oh,
And
absolutely. I did the same
yeah,
thing. I've been part of quite a few home-based startup businesses like that,
oh,
and I believe that it actually did give me a lot of training. So
mhm.
when I was ready to bust out on my own, I had a lot of background already on what to do, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so good, and it's unfortunate because I think MLMs get a really bad rap nowadays, but I know I'm grateful for that background. So I
Absolutely.
met
The
my
training
first,
and the community, right? All of
yes,
that is so helpful.
it is. And you can't get access to that, it was good. So I joined my first company because the mentor that I met, she sat down with me. So I'm in a stranger's house. I'm on a couch. There's this woman who is successful as an entrepreneur. And she sat down and she asked me the question that I think everyone in their life should have the opportunity to be asked. And she said, um, what are some things you want out of your life?
Mm.
And so I'm a dreamer, I'm a goal setter. So I had this you know, huge list of goals. I want a lake house and and I want to drive this car and I want to travel and I want to do all these different things.
I love it.
And I want to do all these things. And then she asked me, she's like, okay, with your current situation, with your current income ability, how long is it going to take you to achieve these things?
Ooh, that's
Oh,
good. She was
right.
sneaky. I like her.
She was, because she
Yeah.
led with the goal. This
Yeah.
was literally where I became an entrepreneur. This was this moment,
Yep.
they say you have that fork in the road moment, and I've had a couple in my life. This was one of them. And so
Oh, love it.
she asked me, she said, how long is it going to take? And I'd never been asked that. And so I had this piece of paper where I'd written down all my goals, and I'm like, look at all my goals. Yeah. And it was a gut punch. I felt like the feeling you get when you're on top of that roller coaster before you go like, phew.
Yep.
And I sat and I was like staring reality in the face. Like there's a time when you're faced with the facts and you realize, if nothing changes in my life, if I do nothing, none of these goals are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, so good. And then she asked me, she said, what do you want to do? Do you want to grow your income or shrink your dreams?
Ooh, I
That
want to
was the
meet this
question.
woman. She's amazing.
She
She's a ninja. I like her.
she was a ninja. She's
Yeah,
just, we are still friends to this day.
I
She
bet.
is still one of my business partners to this day. It's just been
Yep.
such an incredible, she changed my life when she asked me that question. And so I didn't know what I was saying yes to. She didn't lead with the business opportunity. She led with, I have an opportunity to help you. And so I didn't know what I was saying yes to. I didn't know the business. I
Yeah.
just said yes. And I had a husband that wasn't supportive, but I jumped in, I dove in, and
Beautiful.
because of that business and because of the financial freedom I created from it, it actually allowed me to be able to get myself and my two kids out of an abusive relationship. So I'm so grateful. So it was really cool. So that's a little bit of my background story and how I became an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I'd always been meant for more. And then when the opportunity came, I didn't let my head get in the way, and I led with my heart, and I just said yes. So
See, this is why I know you're my people, because I'm a leaper too, and I love other leapers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. It was good.
Awesome.
So here we are.
Woo, I love it. All right. So now you were going to share some tips with us, correct?
I am.
Yay.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Mhm.
All right. So Sarah, what have you got for us today?
Okay, so I sat down and I was like, what can I tell people, beginner business owners, if you are wanting to, or you're in a position where you want to start or you want to grow your business, these should be able to help. These are my top 11 tips that I wish somebody would have told me when I was just getting started in my business.
Awesome. That's what we need. It's that like hindsight, that 2020 vision, right? Going back
Yes.
and saying, had I known this,
Yep.
my life, my business would be so different. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
taking the time to put this list together.
Yeah.
So, and I
Well,
love
thank
that
you
you
for
have
having me.
11 of them.
That is our number.
Yes. Want to share with our audience why 11 is so, special to you and I?
Yes. Well, it's funny. So actually, 111 is, I don't know if you've ever done like a life verse or like,
No.
when I was younger, we had to pick a Bible verse, a confirmation verse. And so
Okay.
I never knew. I picked Hebrews 11:1, which is faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you cannot see. And so through the years, I've always had that in the back of my mind, and I've always been drawn to the number 111. But it turns out that is also the number for co-creation, like law of attraction, manifesting. And it was
Yes.
just so funny because that was like my number. And so here we are today. It is 111, so January 11th. 2020, and I'm here with Jessica. I think it was 11:11 your time,
Yes.
and 1:11 my time when we started recording this podcast.
It was so amazing when we first started talking about doing this, and we looked at the dates, and it turned out that like January 11th was coming up in the very, very near future.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to pick a time, and you said it's got to be January 11th at 11:11, and that'll be 1:11 for me. And I'm like, mind blown.
So perfect. Well,
So
it
here
was
we
just
are.
perfect.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just, oh, see,
it was
again,
so
it's all
fun.
this serendipitous stuff. I just, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
can't get enough of it. And so much of it I'm
Mm-hmm.
finding recently is coming into my life, and I'm so open to it. So when
Yeah.
you suggested that, I got shivers. I was just like, oh my goodness, we have to do this. I'm so excited.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, so I
It's
love that, one of the things that you knew that we wanted to talk about was to be able to give our audience, some real good nuggets, some value that they can take and run with.
yeah.
And I love the fact that you came prepared today with 11 tips in, just
Yes.
because of our 1111 and 111 theme. So thank you so much for that effort. I
Yes.
really appreciate it. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Lay it on us. Yeah. Lay it on us.
I am gonna dive in. Okay.
I'm
So,
taking notes.
and just so you know, we are putting these together in a list. So we're gonna like type this out. So if you wanna download this, if you go into Jessica's podcast notes and you click the link, it'll take you to a very super top secret special bonus area for listeners only of this podcast. Like
Yes.
that's it. So these will be
Awesome.
available inside of there as well. So
Thank you very much for that.
you are so welcome. Thank you for listening, listeners. Okay. My number one tip, the first one, is to find your why first and
Mm,
to really connect emotionally to why you're even starting the business. Like
yes.
why are you doing that? Because if you don't, I've seen so many entrepreneurs, like members of my team, people around me, where they get started and they start, they want to make some money, but and that's attractive and appealing, but if you don't have a deeper sense of connection or purpose to why you're doing what you're doing, it's going to fizzle out and it's not going to be enough. But when you can
Absolutely.
connect the heart to the hustle, and
Ooh.
because entrepreneurialism, it's not like a rocket ship launch, this woo, like this perfect linear straight line upwards. It's a roller coaster. It's up, it's down. There's going to be times when it's going to be hard and you're going to want to quit and you're probably going to cry. And in those seconds and those moments, when you can come back and say, okay, why did I start this to begin with?
Yeah.
Then you can come back to that center and you can pick yourself up and keep going. And so for me, my center was, when I connected and when Lisa asked me that question, like, if not this, then what? And so
Mm-hmm.
for me, knowing that this is it, I have to do it. That's really been one of the reasons that I've persevered and never given up. So that is tip
Beautiful.
number one.
Can I just quickly, I
Yes.
just want to mention what you said. Connect the heart to the hustle. That is beautiful. I'm going to quote you on that.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever been quoted. This is exciting.
There you go. First for lots of
Yeah.
things to
My
come.
first. Yeah. The second thing, my second tip number 2, hire out your weaknesses ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
When you do this, and I know that when you're bootstrapping and you're a beginner business owner and you might not have a lot of, money to get started. And in the beginning, we wear many hats, but there's a time to shift out of that beginner business bootstrap mindset. And once you start to have that investment mindset and you hire out your weaknesses, that's when you're able to grow. Because when you do that, when you have other people operating in their core genius, and you're able to hire out, a website or marketing or whatever it is that you're not the expert at, you're
Yes.
able to stay in your core genius doing the income producing activities that are going to produce you the most return. So
Yes.
it's an investment all the way around. It took me way too long to grasp this concept and to actually get help. Way
Yep.
too long.
I think a lot of us resist that because we feel like, oh, it's gonna, but it's money and I'm, maybe I'm not making enough yet to warrant it. But if
Yes.
we start to do the math on the amount of time and, trying to learn something that, like you say, somebody else has already spent the time, they are already the expert. It's actually going to save you time and money in the end.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tip number 3, this one will be for more, I'd say more the ladies, but it could be for, male entrepreneurs as well.
Mhm.
You can't, or you don't have to be superwoman or superman.
Mhm.
And especially if you are a single entrepreneur and you have children. I knew for a long time, I felt guilted into, having to have it all together. And I was building my business. I had 3 kids. I'm by myself, and I'm like, I've got to keep the perfect everything. And I came to this point where it was like, we don't have to be the one to do it all in our life. So just like you hire out your weaknesses in business, it is also okay to hire help on the personal side of things. It might
Mhm.
be in the form of a nanny. I had someone doing my laundry, my housekeeping. I had someone mowing my lawn. I had a nanny.
I love it.
And it allowed me to be able to, that very precious time that I had, I was able to focus on building my business.
I
So,
love that. I love that.
yeah.
It doesn't sound like a business skill, but it is, because like you say,
Mm-hmm.
it allows you the time to stay in your core genius and not have to worry that, the laundry's getting done or the dishes are done or that you've got healthy food prepared, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, love
Absolutely.
that.
Tip number 4, having a success mindset. Having a success mindset. Now, they say mindset is, or success is 80% mindset, 20% mechanics. It is so true. When you look around, we grow up in a society or a culture that we're not programmed necessarily for entrepreneurialism. We're really programmed for the 9 to 5. We're not taught like the investment mindset or anything. So it's very important that we surround ourselves with people who think like a business owner,
Yes.
and that we're constantly putting ourselves in that mental success space. Always adopting that ideal of, I'm going to get out of this business what I put into it. I
Mhm.
know when I first got started, I was like so like hands closed around my business, almost like because I wanted to produce money, because I needed it. It was like desperation. And
Mm,
I was afraid of it to fail though.
right.
So there was like this dual thing going on where I was afraid it was going to fail, so I wouldn't put any money into it. And I eventually realized that I will get out what I put in. I can't be afraid of failure, and I have to like hold that business with more of an open hand. And
Oh, I love that.
so I got I started working with a personal mindset coach.
Mhm.
Um, he is a neuro-linguistic like programming specialist.
That's my
And
specialty as well. Yeah.
oh my gosh, that's so
Yeah.
awesome. So there
Yes.
you go. Get a hold of Jessica. You have to,
NLP is amazing.
uh,
It's just incredible. And there's too much to explain, but it's,
mm-hmm.
yeah, thank you for saying that, because
Yes.
it is huge and
Yes.
quick. It's quick.
It is
It's
very
not
quick.
years and years of working. It's quick. So
No,
yeah. Yeah.
you repave that programming that has been, in you. And as soon as you're able to like essentially rewire that brain, the
Yeah.
success it just comes. It was so
Yes.
amazing. So
Yeah. Awesome. I'm
there
so
was
glad to
that.
hear that you had success with that, because it really
Yes.
has changed my life 100% by going through
Ah,
the techniques of NLP. So yeah.
that is so cool. I love it. Number 5. I think we get afraid to take action, and we get that perfection procrastination.
Mhm.
Messy, inspired action will beat perfect procrastination any day. So you
Yes.
just have to get started.
Yes. I am giving you a virtual high five, lady, because
Yeah.
leaping is the
Oh,
way to go. Just go and figure it out.
yes, yes. I
Yep.
don't know if any of you entrepreneurs listening to this have kids, but or if you ever listened or watched the Magic School Bus, when there's Ms. Frizzle and she's like, "Get messy, make mistakes." That is exactly what you should do in your business. I
I
like
love it.
Ms. Frizzle it, get messy, make mistakes, and just just go for it, you know, because there's people out there who are doing the things. I remember when I was like afraid to start out on my agency because I thought that I needed, I don't know. Like I thought that I needed this like certification to, you know, to give myself credit to be able to do whatever. And it's like, you don't. You can give yourself permission to succeed and permission to start, and you can start now.
Yes. Yes, I agree. And you know what your certification is? The results that you get for your clients. That's your certification right there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's tip number 5. Tip number 6, find a mentor.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Oh, I can't tell you, like, even if you're just getting started and your very first mentor is in the form of someone on a YouTube video or someone on a podcast or really whatever, but when you can hire a mentor and you're to that position, find a mentor, but qualify your mentors.
Yes.
I learned this the hard way. And when I say qualify them, I mean, look at what they have in every area of their life, their health, their finances, their relationship, their spirituality. Like, are they someone that because if you copy that person's, what they're telling you to do in business, but yet their relationships are broken or their health is in danger, you know, you're going to get what the results are for them. So make sure it's someone that holistically has the success that you would want to duplicate.
It's beautiful. And I love that you said that it doesn't have to be somebody that you even know. Like for me, I have some amazing mentors. They don't even know it because they're just people that I follow on YouTube or podcasts or even courses that I've taken, or there's membership programs that I've joined, because just that continuous learning from somebody that's already done what you want to do is like, it will 10x your business just by following their lead.
Yes. Absolutely. Yep. That is so true.
Yeah.
Yes. Tip number 7, in the beginning, you do have to put in a little bit more sweat, hustle, and elbow grease. Like there's too many, I hate using the word entitled, but there's like almost a sense of entitlement in some entrepreneurship where it's like, I have my business, I have this, why am I not getting the clients? You know, where are they? You can't just expect success. You have to be willing to work for it. And there's 2 forms of how clients are going to come to you. So the 2 forms are action and attraction. Those are the 2 forms of marketing that we, talk about. And until you get some things set up and you have more money and, you're able to set in some of these attraction in place, your platforms and, you've got a big list. Until you have that going, you have to lead more with action. And you've got to be willing to put in the work and, knock on the doors and do the things and earn that platform and earn that success. Otherwise, it's like, it would be like saying, I'm going to go put my car for sale, but I'm going to put it on, in the middle of this cornfield with a for sale sign that nobody drives by on like a deserted highway. And that's kind of like how some people are with their business. It's like, don't be the car in the cornfield, like put that, get visible, take action, and, maybe get out there and do it, like go for it, do the thing.
And sometimes those things are uncomfortable, and people need to realize that you're not always going to just get to do the things that are fun, right? And that's where I think a lot of people get stuck. It's like, well, but I was told that, all I have to do is this, and people will come flocking to me. No, not going to happen. So sometimes you have to put yourself out there in ways that you didn't expect that you would, but it's worth doing. And you grow through those, right? There's there's so many layers to that. It's pushing through the hard things and doing that stuff that you didn't expect you have to do. And there's just so many benefits to doing that.
Yes. Yeah. And the action phase, it doesn't last forever, but until, you get that wheel really turning, it takes a little bit more effort on your part to get it going. So there's that one. And then it kind of segues into tip number 8, which is learn how to automate outsource and scale as soon as possible.
Mm.
That is really where the growth happens, because what happens is, so you might just be starting in business, and we just talked about, doing the action and doing the things. There's a time to switch out of that action, I'm doing everything on my own, and getting into more of the automation side and the scaling side. And those are different skill sets, but knowing from the beginning that one day when, there's going to be a cap of, I can only see so many clients in a week, or I can, you're going to reach that ceiling of success. And once you hit that, you can't push forward more, because you'll end up burning out, which I totally hit burnout phase. You have to learn that once you hit that ceiling, that's where you've got to start the scaling, and even, putting measures in place before that. But don't be afraid to scale. It might seem like a big thing, but it is rewarding and allows you to get to the next level.
Yeah. Yes. And recognizing those moments when you feel that, like, I don't know, that's when you're supposed to do it. Yes. That's the good feeling. That's the excitement. Just go for it. Yeah.
Yes. That's like the cliff. Like, you talked about just jumping off and like jumping into the next. When it gets to that point, you got to jump.
Yes. Yes. And don't worry about what's down there. You'll figure it out. It'll all work out. Don't worry. Right?
Exactly. Who says that one quote? Is that Marie Forleo? Everything is figure-outable.
Yes. That's the name of her book, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. Everything is figure-outable.
Yeah.
Number 9, so when you're in business, and it can be really easy to focus on building your business. However, your health is your first wealth. I see way too many entrepreneurs get sick, burn themselves out, or there's like this hustle culture, which I get it. I believe that there's a certain amount of hustle necessary to bring about that breakthrough and success in your business. However, there's also an unhealthy hustle mindset that we see perpetuated way too often, where it's like, I'm up until 3 a.m. and I'm doing this. And it's like, that is more, in my opinion, like the masculine way to build business. I think, we talk a little about this, but there's a flow as well. That's when you can bring like the feminine side in, flow and divine inspiration and intuition. But don't lose your health trying to build your business. I did that. And what I realized quite quickly was it's not worth it. And you can't build a proper business from a place of you not being healthy. So find some health habits that you can work in. Maybe that's, hey, before I do business, this is what I personally do now. I make sure that I get my exercise in for the day first. Before my family wakes up, I set the day off with me. I have my healthy smoothies, and then I eat healthy, and I have more energy. When I got my health on track, I made more money, way more money, because I had more energy and I wasn't sick and I wasn't tired. So health first. Health is your first wealth.
I totally agree, because last year I took on a really big project. I partnered up with somebody, and we hosted an amazing women's conference, but it really, because it was the first, we didn't know what we were doing. Again, took a big leap and figured it out as we went along, but it took up a lot of our time. And I'm typically very active. I love to go hiking and biking and kayaking. And, I run meetup groups where we go and we do activities. But last year, I didn't do any of it. I didn't have the time. And so now I'm really feeling that change in my body, and I'm realizing that that is not okay, like that. And I've learned from it, right? Like I threw myself in and I did what I thought I needed to do in that short window of time for last year. But I learned from it. I realized that is not the way to go. I have to figure out a better way to balance that, because I started to not feel good, and that's not okay. Right. So I love that you said your health is your first wealth, and that's beautiful. I'm going to quote you again.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. And then it kind of segues into Tip number 10, if it steals your peace, it's not worth it. If it steals your sanity, your peace of mind, if it turns you into a mean, crabby person where you're biting off, your spouse's or your significant other's head, or your kids, and you're just, I realized that there were some things I was doing in my business that I didn't enjoy doing. And there were clients that were stressing me out. And even though they were well-paying clients, I sacrificed my sanity and my peace of mind for the money. And it created just such a stress in my life. And so I realized it wasn't worth it. And it is okay. You have entire permission to say no to people you don't want to work with. You do not have to work with everyone. I wish somebody would have told me that, because as someone in business, when I was just getting started, I was willing to do anything for anyone at any time. I'm just like, just hire me, right? Even if I knew in my heart that that person wasn't a good fit. And what I started to say to myself when I started saying no to clients, when you say no to the wrong clients, that opens the door for you to be able to say yes to the right ones.
See, and that's a perfect message, because I think a lot of times, like you say, when we're just starting out, depending on what situation we put ourselves in financially, we're so desperate. We just need it. We need it. And it doesn't pay off in the end, because it drains you. And now you're not able to come to the table and actually provide for the people that are your people, because you're being drained by the negative energy that you're having to put out or hold on to be able to handle the ones that are just not a good fit. So, good message. Yep. That's great.
Absolutely. You have the ability to say no. You also have the ability to fire clients. Nobody ever told me that one, And so when I figured that out, and I actually just did this a couple months ago last month in December, I had clients who were stressing me out, and I got to the point where it's like, I don't care what you're paying me. No. And so I respectfully fired them. And and when you're in a position where you feel desperate, the mantra that I repeat to myself, or when I'm prospecting or looking for clients or anything, is my success does not depend on their yes. And so I just kind of go with that, where I learn it's okay to say no to people. It's okay to detach my success from the outcome of this client, and just to really live in that space of, I'm successful regardless of what happens with this client, or if they say yes, they say no. So there was that.
And I also find, for me, I've had this come up a few times where somebody will say, okay, I want to work with you. I'm going to hire you. But then they delay and they procrastinate, and they just never get around to it. And I've given up chasing people, For a while there, I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I want this client, and they're going to hire me for this, the whole year, and it's going to be amazing, and this is good money. And you create that sense of desperation. And then I realize now I can't do that, because it sucks all my energy into chasing something as opposed to attracting something.
Yes. That's so true. It's so true. And I think too, people don't realize in business, they wrap themselves up on the idea of one client that they then forget to get, to keep marketing, because business is really about, planting seeds. And I call that, you've got seeds that you're going to plant, whether you're planting seeds on social media. And when I say seeds, I mean, like, you're getting out there, you're making people aware of what you do, you're prospecting, however you want to call it. It's seed planting.
Yep, absolutely.
But if you stop planting seeds, nothing is going to grow. And so don't ever forget, you just keep planting the seeds. Don't ever put all your eggs in one basket with a client. That's
absolutely. I
bonus
agree.
tip.
Yes, bonus.
Bonus tip. But and then there's tip number 11, which is like, have fun and find the flow. Like, it is so, if your entrepreneurial journey is no longer fun, and it's not all going to be fun, but there should be a certain amount of fun and flow to it. And so I've learned that it's really good to set goals And it's really good to have a strategy plan, and that's amazing for marketing. But allowing yourself to have the flow in your business allows for that area of intuition to come in, and for that like divine inspiration that is just, it's been amazing where there have been times where I'm sitting at my desk and I'm like stressed out and I can't imagine doing the rest of my workload for that day. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do this. On those days, I've learned, and my husband will be like, go get out of the house. This is just one of those days. Because crazy, amazing things happen on those days when I choose fun and flow over stress.
Yes.
And it's like, I'll go, there was one time, you know, I'm walking through Home Depot and I had a Starbucks, and I ran into someone that became a client that day because I got out of my stress box and went and found the fun and what brought my energy and my, you know, my vibe up. It's like, you got to do that. It's got to be a balance of intuition and ease with systems and strategy. And so have some fun with your business. So that is my last tip number 11.
I love it. I love it. And, you know, and sometimes that's people. Like there are certain people in my life, like, in fact, I have a call after this with just an amazing woman, and she's in business and I'm in business, and we're just work together. But whenever we talk to each other, oh my goodness, we just get into total flow, and the ideas just start coming, and we giggle and we have fun. And, you know, sometimes it's just getting around the right people to get that flow feeling too. So
absolutely.
Okay. So Sara, thank you so much for all those amazing tips. Like I, you know, when I bring a guest on, I honestly only expect one, but you gave us so many. So thank you. I'm so grateful to you for bringing all that together for us for our special 1/11/11/11 and 1/11 time frame that we set out.
I love it. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was really cool how we
Absolutely. This is great. You know, one of the things, like, so this whole podcast came together because I chose to take a leap. I put an idea out there, and I've had so many people come back to me and say that they wanted to be a part of it. And I am having so much fun. So like you were saying about the flow state, like you don't even know sometimes where you're headed, but just stepping away from something and moving in a different direction can bring you something that you had no idea was coming your way. And that's what this podcast has created for me. And just giving me the opportunity to meet people that I probably wouldn't meet otherwise. Like it's opened a whole new door for me. And I love, you know, too often we try so hard to control everything. And we think that, you know, if we plan and we, you know, like right down to the second, you know, like this and this and this is what I'm going to do. But just being able to release and just let be what is coming your way, and then being open to it, can actually pay off so much higher than all of that, you know, ultra planning down to the second, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah. Wonderful. So once again, can you just let our audience know about the special bonus that they can get through your special link that you're providing for our website or for our podcast? And so go ahead quickly, just
recap.
I would be
happy to.
Yeah.
So if you go to saramichaels.com/ignite bonus, which will be in the show notes, you get access to the 11 tips in a printout, as well as some of exclusive discounts on courses. So one of the courses I have is What the Tech. If you're interested in a website, anything like that, if you're a beginner, business owner, or entrepreneur, we put together some special rates that you won't find anywhere else or advertised. So
thank you so much for doing that. Really. And What the Tech, what an awesome name. I like that.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll chat with you next time.